Okay. So, hi everyone. So, it was a great interaction. Let's move on to the panel discussion. We have today three amazing student led organizations who are going to be our partner organizations. We have Anushka from Biblioverse, we have Ananya from the Diversity and Inclusion Collective, and we have Anusha from Project Educate the Educators. So, firstly, I'm just going to ask each one of them to, just go in this order, introduce their organization and their mission. So, Anushka, why don't you all start by telling us a little bit about Biblioverse? So, yeah, go ahead.
Hi, everyone. I'm Anushka Sabnis, based out of Delhi, India. And I am the founder of Biblioverse, which is the universe of books. We are a community platform for young readers and writers. And our intent is to make reading and writing fun, accessible, and a community driven social activity. There is a widely held misconception that reading has to be done alone in a dark, shady corner of your house. Although that is very comfortable, reading can also become a social activity which can engage people from different walks of life. And my prime focus is on young readers and young writers because, frankly, right now, that is the age group I personally can feel I can most connect to through my content, through courses, and through our community program. We're engaging, we have a community of about 3,000 members spread across 11 countries. And we're engaging our members through courses, which is creative writing courses. We have a poetry course live right now, a story writing course coming up. We have content. Our major content platform is Instagram, and we have a community which people can join through the mobile apps. That's about Biblioverse. The idea, yeah. Sorry, I'm sorry. I'm good. I'm just rambling, but
no, go ahead.
I think I'm just extremely passionate about Biblioverse for reasons that I'm pretty sure Srina's going to ask me for later. So I'm going to keep my points to myself and let Ananya speak.
Yeah, totally. No, Biblioverse, Anushka is a school friend of mine, so I've seen how hard she's worked for, everything that she's done. So I will ask follow-up questions. I will give you a space to rant, Anushka, don't worry. And then, yeah, go ahead. Tell us a little bit about Diversity and Inclusion Collective and your mission and your work.
Yeah, first of all, thanks for having me, and it's amazing listening to all of you. And the activity in the beginning was really cool, really fascinating. So yeah, I'll get into it. I'm Ananya. I'm from Mumbai, India, and we're essentially the DNI Collective, which is again a community space by and for artists, creatives, writers, anyone who identifies as creative or likes being creative, from by and for these artists who are from marginalized or structurally excluded communities. So the idea behind the collective is that we create work for the community that has positive and affirmative representation of these underrepresented communities, so that we can further climate and social justice through art making, through participatory art making, which is why we love holding workshops, love holding community events. And at the moment, we're also working a lot behind the scenes to get out a space for people to actually publish their work. So a magazine of sorts, just teasing that I'm not going to reveal too much yet. And also School Club's chapter program, which I think we'll discuss more about later as well. So I'm not going to dwell too much on that because there's a lot I can talk about. I'm going to let Anusha go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, Anusha.
So I think in the activity we all learned that education is really important to form our society, and as Sheena told us that our organization is basically centered around that. So what we do, we spread awareness and we fight against the factual inaccuracies present in the textbook, which promote discrimination and hate. Not just discrimination and hate, even the overlooking of minorities, and just to prevent our textbooks from turning into a male centric and straight heterocentric institution, and to ensure that all our minorities and all aspects of society are equally represented in our education, and so that we do not result in the formation of individuals who are as prejudiced as the textbooks in question. This is what Project ET stands for, and this is why it's so close to my heart. And I'm so pleased to have a platform to discuss this with all of you. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think Project ET is generally like very, very unique. Like it's the kind of thing you'll think of, like there should be something like this, but there is something like this. But so that's really cool. So yeah, now I'll jump back to Anushka. And I know Anushka briefly teased at a course that is available, and also how her Biblioverse, her platform, is like now on the App Store, which is like actually really cool. So I want to have some moments to just for Anushka to elaborate on what this is, what the course is, what's the app, what does that mean, how do we get involved, all that stuff.
Awesome. Okay. So I want Biblioverse not only to be a networking platform, we want the fun, but we also want to contribute to your learning process as an individual. And I have created a very short, brief, crisp, yummy crash course on poetry. This is for beginner poets. It's like 30 minutes of video and hours worth of practice involved. And it basically covers all the basics of poetry. So for anyone who wants to get into poetry, this course also is free till 1st September on the website, which Srina will share the links and everything. I have sent everything to her. The course is called The Rhymery, and this also had an online live workshop version, which is actually what kind of triggered me to make it a course which is accessible across borders and time zones. So the course is available on our website. As for the app, the community part of Biblioverse comes from interaction, and interaction I feel is most accessible when it is on the phone. So it after weeks of 1 a.m. nights and back and forth with App Store and Google Play, we finally have come up with the Biblioverse mobile app. It is available on both Google Play and App Store. It is called Biblioverse. And there is the main feature of our app is the forum, which you can use to interact with the other members on the app. We have about 100 members on the app right now, and we're genuinely looking to expand to as many members as possible, because fruitful discussion, engaging conversations, that is what Biblioverse truly stands for. On the app, you will also find a lot of different groups. There are groups for poetry lovers, groups for writers, groups for book reviews specifically, some for book recommendations, for non-fiction. So there is a niche created for every possible category of reader and writer that I have possibly could imagine. And there is an opportunity for you yourself to create groups and initiate these conversations and create these spaces within the app as well. So it's basically a really interactive platform, which I think if you are a reader or a writer or both, you would really enjoy. So I would prompt you to download the app and attend the course.
Totally. That's so cool, Anushka. I'm so proud of you. Yeah. So, Ayushman, we'll be having audience questions at the end. So, if you want to ask a question to one of the panelists, you can just note that down. We will take it at the end after we're done with these questions. So, just keep that in mind. Don't forget the question. Yeah. Okay. Now to Ananya. Ananya also has a lot of cool things going on at DNI Collective. She does, I like last, I think the workshop, I looked at period signs, and I think that's a very interesting concept. And also the magazine of Diversity and Inclusion Collective. So maybe you can tell us a little bit about these aspects of the organization, future plans in that sense regarding the workshop and the magazines, and if you're accepting submissions, that kind of stuff. Go ahead.
So just a heads up, we're a baby organization. We just started. I think it's been almost a year since we've really started working on this. But this is something that I've had close to my heart as a concept for years and years before that. And what we are currently developing is just in the beginning phase, we're really experimenting. We're trying to build a community around this idea of, let's co-create something together. We don't want to decide everything for the community. We want to build a community first and then have everyone come together for building such things. And which is why we're non-hierarchical. We believe in this community space that's co-creative. And that's kind of the idea behind it. And why we decided to have this space like a magazine is because we want to have something that's distinct from a social media content creation, because social media then becomes about content, right? It's not about it. You sometimes lose that artsiness and that creative process when you're posting on social media, and it also is not something that's permanently there in the way that we want it to be. And at the same time, it also doesn't allow for that kind of freedom of expression. in different art forms and different mediums. So we wanted to have, we're currently building this. We're always open to submissions. We're always open to suggestions. And we are building a primarily digital magazine platform where creators from structurally excluded communities or allies can actually send in work that they feel is important as a literary or an artistic commentary on socio-political issues, and also something that they can express, like as a collective. And primarily because, these voices and these perspectives are generally not accepted in mainstream media or general media. We wanted to also have a way for them to be able to access compensation. I think we'll get to funding a little later, but we wanted to fairly compensate our creatives, because otherwise in the creative industry, there's often the case of people not being able to actually do the work they want to do because there's not enough money to pay the bills. So that's the idea behind the LitMac. Briefly about the School Clubs chapter program, we are essentially building a network for school clubs to start something, small student-led chapters of the broader collective. We intend to guide students in their own journeys of making these safe spaces within their schools, because interestingly, sneak peek into the DNI collective origin story, we actually started off as a club and then it evolved into the whole collective, because we wanted the safe space for students to express themselves, especially students from these marginalized communities. So yeah, I will always drop in more information if anyone wants that. But yeah, we can move on.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's so cool. So to Anusha, right now in India, to all of our international participants, like we're having this massive revamp of our history textbooks, and how some certain minorities are being removed from our history, and it's just a little terrifying, to say the least. From democracy the chapter of democracy has been deleted from our political science textbooks. I think we should just comprehend the gravity of that situation. So Anusha, I just want to hear a little bit more about, on how students and how we exactly, like, how are we affected by this, and what exactly can we do? Can we join Project ET? Is that a good step? What should we do in order to just step up in this very, very dangerous situation that's happening?
Definitely, we are always looking for volunteers to join our platform, and we are always looking for more to spread more awareness about these. The main thing about this major revamp is the exclusion of so many minority I was going to say companies, communities, and like we are, as we all know from the NCRT books, I think the main Mughals, about the history of Mughals, it has been deleted. So many exclusion, and not just these exclusions, other small details, like in biology, there's a class 10th book which states homosexuality to be the cause of AIDS, which is extremely wrong, as you all know. So all of this are instrumental in influencing students in such a way to think in such a way that it is very discriminatory and prejudiced. And I do not think that we should be making individuals like this. Our own education system is making individuals like this to lead the country maybe in the future. So to spread awareness is one of the main concerns that we have, because most people do not recognize something wrong with them. Most people don't recognize that the word, the pronoun he is being used for all of humanity. Most people don't recognize that. So first awareness, obviously, then we can go to bringing about change through petitions and stuff like that.
Okay, that's so cool. Totally. Anusha, it seems like you're answering it so effortlessly, dude. Genuine. I feel like we should take a moment to just comprehend. That was so cool. Thank you so much. So now I just want to ask a few general questions, right? About which, anybody who can pitch in an answer from the panel. About what were some obstacles that you came across. I know Anusha is a contributor at this place, whereas Anushka and Ananya, they're leading this. But as contributors, as leaders at this student-led organization, what were some initial obstacles? And to all of the participants present here who may want to start organizations or initiatives of their own, what would you tell them about it? What heads up or what warning would you give them, disclaimer, or even advice? Anyone who wants to go first, please come in.
Is it fine if I speak with you? Speak?
Definitely, go ahead.
So I have been friends with Prishita, our founder, for a long time. So I have noticed all the issues that she's faced. And like I said, making people aware that there is an issue is the one of the main issues that we have faced. Whenever we tell them about this, whenever we tell them about this, they come up to and say, "I saw your Instagram page. What is it about? Why is it needed even? I don't know that there was even a problem." This is one. Second, I think as students, I think both Anushka and Ananya, you both have faced this problem in the past as well. Because as students, we have so much work and so much going on with studies, friends, etc. Managing this type of page, this type of I don't know committee is a lot, and it takes a lot of work, right? And with someone with sleepless nights because of this, I
Yeah,
can I can protest to the fact, and last and the main one, facing the algorithm's wrath. That this is has been one of the main challenges.
exactly.
It is never enough to keep the algorithm happy.
I know, right? Like we're doing such amazing work. We're trying to post on Instagram. We're trying to manage school. We're trying to like not fail our exams. And then Instagram is just going to put some random person dancing and give their, video like a million views, whereas we just are struggling forever. Little painful, but yeah. Sakshi, do you have a question for the panel? Maybe you can put that in chat. If any logistical question, you can put that in chat. But for the panel, we will take that in like a couple moments. So hold. Anyone else who wants to pitch in on this question? You all might have a lot of thoughts. Go ahead.
Can I go? Oh, sorry, Anoushka, go ahead.
Okay, thank you so much. I think Anusha echoed exactly what was sitting right there on my tongue. The algorithm and time management have been my biggest enemies in trying to make Biblioverse reach more people. And from there, I think one other obstacle that I've faced has been reach and engagement itself. For Biblioverse specifically, we've been running the Instagram page since 2020, and we are still a baby organization in terms of the reach that we have managed to gather. And it's not that we're not keeping up to date with the algorithm, with the real audios and trends and Wes Anderson and whatnot. We're trying to keep up with all of that and still have not managed to gain the traction that some of these online businesses and stores gain in just a matter of months. So I think just navigating how to get reach is one big obstacle for me specifically, and also team building. Right now, Biblioverse is a one-person initiative. It's all me. And as amazing it feels to have creative control, to have logistical control over what goes on in Biblioverse, it gets tiring and exhausting because, as Anusha said, there's schoolwork, there's college applications, there is so much going on that you just need to be able to diffuse work and delegate tasks. And for that, it has been difficult for me, for Biblioverse, to find people who want to contribute at a logistical level, who want to contribute as a team mate, as a team member. So another call for anyone here who wants to, just help out in this community of readers and writers. You are a reader, a writer, you are none, you like social media content creation, you like to make reels, you can contact me. You can go to our website, put a contact us form there. You could email us. We will share everything with you, but also a cry for help a little bit. But
Very,
yes,
very
that's what
subtle, Anoushka. Thank you for that. Ananya, go ahead.
Don't worry, we support you, Anoushka. We support you fully. And also echoing what Anusha said, it is really taxing to work as a student on something that you're really passionate about. At least for me, I think it emerged from a need because we really needed this space to be able to express ourselves safely and have that safe space to express what would otherwise be not considered socially appropriate. And I think also for me, I would like to touch a little bit upon the mental health aspect of it. Because managing all of this does take a toll on you. At the same time, I think the DNA Collective is the best thing to have happen to my mental health because it's given me such a wonderful space to interact with people, And I think when we are thinking about leadership and especially leadership in this sector or in this space, we really need to like define what we think of leadership, because at least at the collective, I think what we're trying to do is really deconstruct all these notions of leadership that we currently have, that you know, you need to manage everything on your own, you need to take all of this toll on yourself, and need to have certain qualities, need to have certain amount of skills, or really anything that you need that would conventionally be associated with leadership. We're really trying to question that and trying to see why that is in there, why that is there in place, you know. Which is why we're non-hierarchical, because we believe that it's more about community and it's more about coordination. So even my technical role at the collective is more about coordinating all of these different teams, just like, you know, like being that person who just supports everyone. And that's what I think leadership looks like, because it also really it's about prioritizing everyone's mental health at the same time in that collective, in that community space. And I know for a fact that if I try to be the boss leader, or the leader who is willing to take on everything, the stoic leader, I would just be damaging my own mental health, and even the community and the organization wouldn't be able to you know, really flourish. So that's just a thought. Maybe we could, you know, discuss a little more about what leadership looks like for each of us. But yeah.
Absolutely. I think this is very unique actually, because you don't come generally all, like, not even student led, like literal every corporate structure, every organization, that's what an organization means, right? So I think that's extremely unique what DNI Collective is doing, and maybe, you know, figuring out that system and how exactly it works. I think that's very, very interesting. So I want to ask a few audience questions now before I jump into any like one or two last question I have. So the audience members now, enough dialogue. I want you all to pitch in. You can raise your hand and we can allow you to unmute. So any question about how you can perhaps, if you're, you know, looking to start an organization, any advice you need, any particular question, money, funding, how to build a team, those questions we can have now. And any questions of the particular things about Biblioverse, DNI, Project ET. So Sakshi, go ahead. You can unmute.
So, first of all, like you all three of you, all four of you actually are doing really great work and inspiring us to, well, just start something. So I just really wanted to know how, when you got the idea of your respective projects, how did you just start? Because I'm really passionate about period poverty and like sex education. That's a topic that's kind of a taboo in India, and I'm really passionate about period poverty, and I want to do something in that aspect. Like I want to start an organization for that. So I just wanted to ask how you after initially got your idea, how did you proceed with everything?
Yeah, that's really interesting. I know Ananya has done a lot of work in the period space. So that would be interesting. Ananya, do you want to take this one up?
Yeah, sure. I think first I would ask myself, like, if I had an idea and if I wanted to work on something, I would ask myself why I'm doing this, and whether I could really create an impact by starting a new organization in the first place. Because I think there's this idea that everyone needs to start an organization of their own, that's like the pinnacle of success, so that's a pinnacle of achievement or something. But you know, if an organization already exists in the space and you think it is addressing the same needs that you want to address, and you think that it shares the same values that you have, then you know, you should always first research what organizations are already doing in the space. And not and it would be counterproductive to just duplicate what another organization is doing, right? Unless you obviously have some unique perspective on it, you have a unique take on it, or that organization is not really doing the right work in your opinion, and you think that you can do it better, then sure, go ahead. But again, don't think of it as competition or anything. Always be willing to collaborate. In fact, when you're researching, look up to these people as mentors, because maybe they have a little more experience in the field. Reach out to them first, say that, okay, I want to start this organization in my community, in my locality, or at this different level. And I wanted your advice, you know. Mentorship is really important. I've been sitting on this idea for years and years, but until I participated in the WILAC Counter Speech Fellowship and had that kind of mentorship support, over there. I didn't really know where I could take this. So definitely reach out to mentors. Just a quick, there are a lot of ways you can reach out to mentors, but a quick way is to either sign up to an incubation program or to a fellowship of some sort. If that is inaccessible to you, then try contacting people, from your own circle, your own school. Maybe reach out to a teacher if you are close with the teachers, or if you are on LinkedIn, then by the way, I would highly recommend that everyone here make a LinkedIn account if you have good internet access, if you're able to. Even if you don't have anything to put on there, just make one, follow people, connect with people, because you really learn a lot of things about personal and professional development, and also will have access to a lot of people in the field who what you're interested in. I'm not entirely sure if I answered your question very well. If you want specifically something about period poverty, then feel free to connect with me, or anything, even if it's about sex education and you want to have some resources or something, feel free to connect with me. I have worked in this field for a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Such great advice, Ananya. Thank you. So I'll be sharing the contact information of all the panelists here. Anushka, we have a question for you. James, do you want to unmute and speak it out, maybe?
Yeah, I got you. So I'm interested in joining Biblioverse. Over the summer I regained my interest in writing. I guess like for most of high school, I've been playing sports, so my summer's been involved just me playing sports from like 6 a.m. Practice, then having a game late in the day. But this summer I've been mostly recovering from surgery. So I've been writing out just been writing a lot. So I regained my interest in writing, and I would like to like share my writing and also improve my skills and learn from others. So like, what's the best way to join that community?
First off, I am so happy for you to have found a love for writing. It can be an amazing outlet of emotions, especially since you said you're recovering from surgery, which I hope you're comfortable. It can be a really great way to just let out whatever you're feeling. As for joining Biblioverse, we are available on a lot of different platforms. We have a website, we have a mobile app, and we have an Instagram page. If you're looking to share your writing, the app is the best place to go to. In a few moments, I'll just, put the link to the app in the chat for you to refer to. We have a forum. We have a nook called the Story Nook. We also have one called the Writer's Nook, where you can, actually just write whatever comes to mind. It's like a posting. It's like Instagram. You post, you can add photos, you can add polls, and you can receive feedback from the other members on the app. So if you want to share your writing, that is a really great place to look at. We're also thinking of initiating a community blog, which is not just a one-sided blog from the app admin, which is me currently, but also a place where other people can share their work. For now, the forum acts as that community blog, so that I think will be a great place for you to share your work. As for learning, if you're interested in prose, then we have a course coming up. But if you are looking to, venture into poetry, we already have a poetry course, as I mentioned. If you want to, just brush up a little bit of basic poetry concepts, do a few assignments, a few quizzes to just be a little rooted in the basics of poetry, that course is for you. It's free, so no stress over there. And to improve your writing skills, on our Instagram page, we have an entire stream of content dedicated to writing tips. We have short writing guides, from the elements to include in a story to how to show, not tell, from her writing characters to showing character arcs. We share a lot of tips on the entire writing process. So I think you will find answers to your different needs and questions on all of our different platforms. And we would be absolutely elated to have you join us.
All right, thank you.
Okay, great. Any other audience questions, guys? So much we've discussed. I know. Yeah, Pratyusha, go ahead.
I actually had a question for Anusha. Like, as a school student, like, how do you expect us to fight against the system? Like, if I'm not wrong, I believe you wanted to change the like things that are wrong in the textbooks, and also like I also felt some of the things that were wrong in the textbooks, and I felt they were not right. But like, we don't have any place to talk to or any person to talk to about that. So like, we can't just approach the teachers, and the teachers will say, no, the book is right. NCRT is everything. So I don't know, like how do you expect us students to create any impact?
Yeah, just
Is Anusha? I think she had a problem with her camera. She'll join back in a few moments. We'll get back to Pratyusha. And meanwhile, as Anusha comes back, any other questions we can address? Please feel free, guys. Any advice you all want? Any, okay, we can maybe have one question from Ananya. I'm very curious about this. This is about funding. So Ananya actually received funding from an organization for DNI Collective. And oftentimes, as student-led organizations, we may think that, Anusha, I know you're back. Let's answer Anusha's question first. Go ahead,
oh,
Anusha.
all right. So I'm so sorry. I just couldn't hear your question clearly.
Pratyusha, can you go ahead again, please?
Okay, so I basically wanted to ask you, like, how do you expect us students to create an impact? Because whenever we are trying to talk to anybody we know, like especially the teachers or anyone, they're like NCRT for India is like the main book. You can't change anything in NCRT. You have to follow the book just as it is. So like, there's no option for us to change anything or to suggest anything. And I don't think that if we students suggest anything, anyone will exactly like pay attention to our words or anything. So I don't think it will create any impact. So how do you expect to create an impact?
Yeah. So the main thing we do, like I said before, spread awareness, one thing, and petitions. Petitions are extremely important. Petitions are the reason why we are creating change in the first place, so that student voices are empowered. And I think I heard a previous part of your question as well. So, you noticed some factual sorry, inaccuracies in your book, and you want to mention, you want to discuss that, you want to correct that. So you could just go over to our website, and I think we have a form over there. You can mention whatever there is wrong, and if you would like to join the organization, you could fill a form for that as well. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Could you share the link in the chat section
Yeah,
too?
I'll just do it.
Yeah. We'll also, guys, we'll have like post-conference resources, like a document with everything. I'll have some like the panelists there, links and all that, but also some external opportunities that I think all of you may be interested in. So yeah, like, when you're changing the system, when you're making impact, I feel like you start small, right? You start from a conversation with your teacher. You start by telling them, ma'am, I think this is wrong. Then you perhaps go, you progress, you evolve. So I don't think we can expect to change the entire system overnight. But any other audience questions, you all can prepare your question. But I'm going to ask Ananya one thing I'm very interested in. So Ananya receives funding for DNI Collective, and oftentimes, as students, we believe that money is a solution for a lot of things. If we have money, we can do marketing, we can pay our members, we can do a lot of things. And it is a very interesting thing to deal with as students, like a large sum of money. How exactly do we use that? Does it solve all your problems? How do you navigate with that? Should you be looking for funding if you're leading an organization? All these questions. So Ananya, if you could briefly cover the important points of that. And meanwhile, audience members, think of questions, okay, before we conclude. I want to hear from all of you. Ananya, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for that question. Firstly, just to give you all context, we received a grant for about 3 months. So we're not currently on any grant. Right now, if we need any financial resources, then we just run on like small donations that were made by individuals. And the grant that we received was from a global organization, and the process was kind of strange because we just applied, and then we went through maybe I think 2 stages of an application process, and we got the grant, we got the funding, and during this period of time, I was mostly working alone, so I didn't really have a team at that moment. So technically, I just had this funding lying in my parents' bank account because we don't have like our own bank account or anything because we aren't a registered organization. Even though we're non-profit, we aren't registered yet because I'm a minor. So that's another challenge that happens if you're a minor starting an organization. Registration, legal stuff, it's complicated. And I think what we struggled with was how we could use that funding because there were a lot of restrictions placed by the grant. So I think before you reach out to any grant, before you accept any grant, definitely do your research. Ask, like, because even though we put specific requirements in our budget proposal, they later came back to us and said, "I'm sorry, we can't give you this. We can't give you funding for this particular purpose," which was something that was integral to the organization, which was actually something that we needed, which was to be able to compensate our contributors essentially. But then they came back to us saying that, and we also understand their perspective. They didn't want us to manage payments to individuals, something like that. But then it did provide a significant challenge to us because we didn't really know what to do with the money. Eventually we did figure out a project that could use the money within the restrictions that our grant had provided. But I do think that if you're reaching out for funding, and if you really think you really need it, then always do your research. Find an organization that you know supports young people, because I was the youngest person on the like amongst all the grantees, and there were no other like under 18 folks, and that's very challenging because yeah, obviously there are a lot of restrictions to what we can do in our capacities. And when the grantor or the the funding organization doesn't really understand what our capacities look like, it does create like a sense of like, okay, why haven't you submitted your report yet? It's been 3 months, and I'm sitting here being like, we just figured out a project idea. We definitely need an extension for 3 more months. And yeah, that was the process behind it. One thing I would say that this is something that when I was talking to Srina originally, I was like, definitely do not think grants are important to building an organization. They are very, very much not. Even though the grant did prove useful in like one or two ways to like the organization building itself. I mean, we did create impact through the grant, but the organization, we did that all on our own. We did that through community building, through like sending cold emails to folks who we thought would be interested in joining our team, spreading out the word that we want something like this, or we want contributors. I think I had this false assumption that, and it was like this glittering general thing that if we get a grant, then suddenly we would be skyrocketed. We would have like all this wonderful reputation. People would trust us. We would have like 20 people on the team. Everyone would feel passionate and everyone would love it because we have a grant. Yeah, I don't really know why my younger self thought that. But it was also possibly that I felt the need to, like prove that this organization is legit, that we're actually trying to create impact. And I thought money would be the best way to do that, but it's really not. I do think the grant just created more stress for me. It was terrible for my mental health, quite frankly, because like dealing with so much money or dealing with money in general was not something that I wanted to do. And I was forced to do that because I was just on my own at that moment. And I definitely think that grants in general, just ensure that the person who is giving you a grant understands that you're a school student if you are doing it while you're simultaneously managing your studies, or if you really want to get into the whole grant thing and actually like start your organization, have it financially like set up and everything, then take a gap year, mate. Take a gap year. But do not think that you need a grant for building an organization. All you need is outreach skills, social skills. Yes, you will have to socialize. If you're an introvert, then it's okay. I'm also an introvert. I understand your pain. But find people who will do that work for you. Like for instance, I was struggling with social media, and I wanted someone to take on that responsibility. So we have a great great someone right now, and great team as well right now, who is managing that. And like big shout out to them. They're a lifesaver. So I think it's more about the people who make your organization, not about the funds that you receive or the awards that you've won, or any recognition that you won. It's more about having the community. So definitely your first step should be building community. First step should be gaining mentors, gaining people to talk to, and not trying to reach out for funding. Don't make the mistakes I made, basically.
No, totally. Thank you so much, Ananya. I feel like we've just got so many life lessons. Guys, take notes, please. Money is not going to solve your problems. Like the entire team building thing, like look out. So at the teenage lens also, I'm very lucky to have found a very nice, supportive team who helps me in areas that I don't like. And yeah, so I'm very grateful to them. So Ananya just totally depicted that. So any other last audience questions, guys? We talked about so many things. Do you not have follow-ups to some of those things you disagree with? Any questions for just anything? The organizations, the panelists, tips, advice, anything at all. You can let us know. I'll wait for 3 seconds. Okay, done. So, all right. So, this was such a great panel session, guys. You all were amazing. Thank you so much for joining. And thank you so much for all the participants who made the first initial activity so fun. I think that was genuinely very engaging and thought provoking. And all the tips that we learned from you all, so good. So, I will be sending out post conference resources where you can get involved with all these organizations, learn more about them. And just reach out to them if you need any advice. Maybe I'll send in your emails if you all are comfortable, if anybody has any questions that they would want to ask you personally. I think that sounds good. Any other last thoughts by anyone, panelists, student, participants, team members, anyone wants to
Yeah,
pitch
I would
in?
like to say something.
Yeah,
I
go ahead.
think it was extremely amazing to have an opportunity like this. I think if you had told me about like 5 months before that I would have an opportunity like this to interact in such a wide scale, I would have laughed in your face and walked away. And I just love both of your initiatives. And Anushka, since reading is such an important thing to me, and I am a founder of a small book club myself, so I think Biblioverse is so amazing, and it's just it is so great to see it in such a big scale. And Ananya, yours as well. It is so great.
Yes. I love my fellow panelists bonding and having their own moment only. Okay. All right. Any other last thoughts by anyone before we conclude? Sakshi, go ahead. Also, conclude in the sense that we're meeting tomorrow for politics and research. We're going to have some more controversy tomorrow. But concluding for today, Sakshi, go ahead.
I just wanted to say that all of you are doing such an amazing job, and it was a really nice session to listen to all of you and gain so much insights on all of your projects. You're just making all of us proud and inspiring us so much. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm glad, Sakshi. I feel like our mission is done. After Sakshi's words, we have done what we were made to do. Thank you, Sakshi. So, all right, guys, thank you so much for joining in today. We will be meeting tomorrow, same time, 8 p.m. for politics and research. We have 4 organizations tomorrow. We'll have a little bit more, spice maybe, in the sense that we'll get into some political drama, hopefully. And the activity for tomorrow, I'm still deliberating. How do we outdo what we did today is what I'm targeting. So, Isha, thank you so much for those kind words. I'm going to end the meeting now. Have a great day, evening, afternoon, everyone. It was so nice to talk to you all. Bye bye. See you tomorrow.